So as we play some Fortnite right over here, guys, I'm going to be talking to you guys about why you should work a 9 to 5 job. I know a lot of you people, right? You guys are saying, oh, I don't like work one 9 to 5 job. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a streamer. I want to be a content creator. I want to start an e-commerce business. I want to get into crypto and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying those are bad things, but I'm saying that you should go ahead and use 9 to 5 job temporarily. Obviously, don't stay at a 9 to 5 forever. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to do that. You want to retire your family. You want to take care of your kids. You want to take care of your people. You want to go ahead and travel the world when you want to. You want to have some sort of freedom of speech with your platform and help influence people. But 9 to 5 job is something that a lot of you young kids that you shouldn't skip nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So let me first start off by introducing myself, because you guys are probably thinking, whoa, 5K Gaming, what is your experiences with working 9 to 5 job? And why do you vouch for working 9 to 5? Okay, so I vouch for working 9 to 5 temporarily when you're young and you're building your foundation as a young adult and you're trying to get into the real world. You need some skills, you need some life experiences, you need your life lessons, you need your life attributes, you need some sort of income to your name to go ahead and support your business and support your family, paying bills and getting a car and doing this, and it provides more opportunities. And you need to be more interesting as a person, and you need to build your characteristics and your life skills and your maturity, and you can do all of that by working 9 to 5 jobs and getting out into the real world and getting out there and just experiencing what it's like to go through tests and trials and suffering and failure and multitasking. And there's just so many different things that 9 to 5 jobs can teach you. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about the things that I went through, all right? Because it just shows this is a living proof testimony how 9 to 5 jobs can make you a better person, all right? So let's just go back a little bit and give you guys more backstory before I go ahead and talk about myself. So obviously, guys, number one, right? 9 to 5 jobs, like I said, is going to provide some sort of income to your name. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot of income, but that income can go ahead and provide for yourself. It can help, if you're living with your parents, you can go ahead and help provide and pay bills for them. But not only that, but for yourself personally, you can go ahead and get a cheap car to take you from point A to point B. You can go ahead and do side hustles like DoorDashing and Uber Eats, and you can do anything, right? But you need some sort of income to your name in order to get to that point, right? And not only that, but also like if you're trying to start a business, maybe you got to pay for the subscription every month, right? It's like $50 a month. What are you going to do? You're going to use your mom's credit card? Don't use and freeload off of your family and your parents. Show them that you're serious about your life and show them that you're able to do it. You don't want handouts in this life, right? I'm telling you guys, work together, but don't depend on a lot of people all the time. Show them that you're serious about your life, right? So you need income to your name. You need income to go ahead and support whatever business module that you're trying to do. You need to go ahead and support, maybe you're trying to join like your college and you're trying to get tuition, or maybe you're trying to join like this activity like going to the gym or like joining boxing or Muay Thai. You need some sort of money to pay for that, all right? And that's where 9 to 5 jobs comes in. You don't got to be rich from all this 9 to 5 shit, but you just need some sort of income to your name to support you. All right, so that's the number one thing why 9 to 5 jobs. But not only just money, let me talk to you guys about number two. But before I talk about number two, guys, I'm gonna tell you guys that a lot of you kids, right, you guys want to be content creators, you want to be big on the internet, you want to go ahead and get rich financially quick. But my best advice is you got to get rich as a person first. And what I mean by that is you need to be rich in every realm possible, not just financially. You see a lot of young kids nowadays, especially on the internet, they're only making degenerate clown content because why? They're not rich as a person. They're not interesting. They have no valuable information to provide to society. They have nothing interesting to talk about. They're immature. They're undisciplined. They're irritating. The only thing that they know, right, is go out into the real world and start acting like a clown on the internet. And that's the best way to get attention. Right? It's an attention-seeking economy nowadays. Everybody wants attention because why? They know it makes money. And the only reason why they're seeking attention is because they're not interesting. They have nothing in the real world that they went through. They didn't work all these 9 to 5 jobs to get them experiences so that they have better opinions and perspectives on certain things and different, whatever that goes on into the world. They're just brain dead. All right, so you see it with a lot of YouTubers, Jack Doherty, Neon, they all got rich financially quick as a young person. But outside of that, if you take away their camera, what can they offer to society besides acting like a clown on the internet? Nothing, right? Like they're not interesting. They don't talk anything. They have no unique perspectives and opinions. They have no skills that they learned outside in the real world to provide for society and maybe you can make content off of that. But the only way that they know how to go ahead and get attention and make money is by attention, by acting like a clown, by acting like a degenerate. Now, I'm not trying to call them out or anything because obviously I'm a small YouTuber and who cares what I say, right? And I don't want beef anyways, but it's just a good prime example, right? And no harms to anybody if I talk about them in the video. But even like that other guy, right? I was on TikTok the other day and there was this kid who goes into Target and goes into random stores, and what he does is he just starts screaming and he starts acting like a clown. Then he got him and his boys, they coming in and they're out here just acting like a clown and they're recording it, and obviously it makes them money, it gets them followers, it gets attention, right? A lot of people, they love clown activity, it gets them attention. And so, that's why they keep making that content, because why? It gets them attention by acting like a clown. And if they don't act like a clown, nobody's going to give a shit about them or give them views, because why? They're not interesting without having to act like a clown. So that's why a lot of people, they resort to acting like clowns on the internet, because they don't experience the real world. They have nothing interesting besides acting like clowns. And why? Because they didn't work a 9 to 5 job. So that's my pitch for you guys, all right? This is why you should work a 9 to 5 job. Now, let me talk about myself real quick, all right? As I keep playing this game real quick. But 9 to 5 jobs, right? I've been working all these 9 to 5 jobs the past 5 to 6 years, since 2019. 2019. Oh yeah, it's been almost 6 years ago already. That was freaking fast, right? 2019, I was only 16 years old. I was about to be a senior in high school. I was playing sports. I was doing combat training. I was doing football. I was going to church. I was in a good private school, but grew up in the ghetto. I knew what it's like to struggle, but I knew what it's like also to see, there's hope, there's opportunities out there in the real world if I put my mind to it. I was taking college credit courses, and not only that, but I decided on the weekends, right, on my free times, I was going to be working my first 9 to 5 job. So my first ever 9 to 5 job at age 16 was working at a landscaping company. I remember every day, summertime, I would go work in the morning, and then after working, I'll go to my training, football, combat sports, whatever that I had to do for the entire summer. And then when school started in August 2019, I was just going to school, going to training, coming home, and then weekends I'll be working at my landscaping job. So landscaping, it taught me so many different valuable life lessons and skill sets that a lot of young people, they probably don't know today, right? So when I was 16 years old, this is what I learned at landscaping. I learned how to cut grass, I learned how to lawn mow, I learned how to use the leaf blower, I learned how to go ahead and trim bushes and trees, the basic stuff. I actually learned how to drive over there. Like, I was on the golf cart, I didn't drive, I didn't have my license at the time. It was my first time ever operating a vehicle. And so when I got behind the golf cart, I was like, wow, is this how it feels to drive a regular car? And then after that, I was driving different varieties of golf carts, the long ones, the small ones that you see on the tennis courts, or not the tennis courts, but the golf course. And then after that, even I learned how to drive a sit-down forklift. And so I was just like, I thought I was the man at that age. At that age, it made me feel like, wow, I'm 16 years old. A lot of these kids in school, they don't even know what it's like to drive. They don't know what it's like to operate big, heavy machineries. They don't know what it's like, right? They didn't have any of the skill sets. So I felt like I was a young man, right? It made me feel good because I was possessing a bunch of different skill sets. So anyways, 2019 comes, and in 2020, obviously, guys, right, the pandemic hits. So pretty much my landscaping company, my whole job was on the weekends. I had to landscape, but not only that, but there's like different like party community halls, whatever, that's used for like graduation parties or like school parties or birthday parties or events or churches. So my job was after or before the event started, whatever that was planned on the weekend, I would have to clean the halls. I would have to go around, make sure that the area was clean. And then even after, the next day I would come in and I'll have to clean up, the aftermath of the parties and whatever, and then continue doing my landscaping job on the side. But anyways, when COVID hit, right, a lot of the things got shut down. So the whole communities, nobody could have community parties. No one could gather together because obviously, right, everybody's like, oh, COVID, oh, 6 feet distancing, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, yeah, I had to go ahead, and my boss was teaching me different skill sets as well. That's outside of landscaping. Like, for example, she taught me how to go ahead and paint roads and curbs. Her son, he had his own business where he goes on and he goes to different establishments like Walmart and onto, whatever, military bases, and they'll get contracts, and he'll do like painting roads and curbs, right? The curbs, the roads, like, the parking stalls, the lines, they got to go ahead and paint that. So my boss was like, she was training me. I don't know if she was trying to recruit me into that business too, but she was training me. She said, what you're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to use a paint and a bucket and a tool brush and whatever that you need. And we're going to repaint the curbs, since nobody's here. We're gonna be doing special projects because nobody's here, and we're just gonna spice the place up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I was painting roads and curbs. I was painting speed bumps. I was, using all kinds of different tools. I was doing all kinds of different things. And then not only that, but also she was teaching me how to plant, like gardening kind of stuff. Like we had like a whole field of grass, and it was like brown dirt, and they wanted to turn it into grass. So I was using pickaxes. I was acting like I was playing in Minecraft. I was digging holes. I was planting the seed and the fertilizer inside of the hole, and then we was covering it up, and then we had to water it. But the whole point is I learned so many different skill sets just from working that landscaping job. So it made me more interesting. It made me, maybe I could fall in love with landscaping. And then later on, I could have used that landscaping skills to start my own landscaping business. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have used all these things to my benefit to make me a better person and make me more money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It was something to think about. But not only that, but it taught me so many different life lessons and life attributes that I didn't know that I had, right? So it taught me discipline. Every day I had to wake up, I had to show up to the job, even if I was tired from school, even if I was tired from my sports, I had to show up. But not only that, but when I was 16, 17 years old, on the weekends, I was the only worker over there. So when I was over there, I had so much responsibilities that I had to do. And I remember that I had so much responsibilities, but also I had to be accountable for every single thing. I had to make sure that the gates was open. I had to make sure that, everything was open, the parties were situated, and there was a lot of times when there was a lot of homeless people that they would wander onto the property. And so I remember one time when I clocked in, I don't know how these freaking guys got inside, but there's these two Russian dudes, and they couldn't speak English. They were sitting in front of like the community hall right in front, and they were kind of blocking the way. And it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and the people that were coming to set up at the hall, they was gonna show up at like 8 o'clock, 8:30 ish. So I was like, bro, you guys gotta get the hell out. So I remember I pulled up with my golf cart, and then my boss, she was on vacation too. She used to live on the property, but she wasn't there because she was on vacation. So it was literally only me, and then the guys, the other coworkers, they only work on the weekdays, right? So I wasn't there. It was the weekend. So I go up to them. I'm like, hey, bro, you guys gotta go. Hey, sir, you guys gotta go because this is technically private property, and yeah, you're not supposed to be loitering over here and freaking blocking the way. We got people coming in for events. You guys gotta go. They couldn't even speak English. They're just like blah, 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 blah. Like, what the fuck is this guy speaking? Like fucking Russian or something? So anyways, I was just like, sir, you guys gotta go. If you guys don't move, I gotta call the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got one job to do. You got people coming in. You guys blocking the way. You guys acting like fucking, you guys owning the territory. You know what I'm saying? So, it got to the point where I don't know how they went, but they were just sitting there for like a good 30 minutes. And I still had a lot of things that I had to do. I had to go ahead and manage the other halls. I had to go ahead and make sure that this was open. I had to turn on the water fountains and clean it and make sure that the things were shooting water because the thing was kind of broken. So, I was like, hey, come on, guys. You guys got to move. I got a job to do. I got 5 hours to do all this shit. I got time management that I have to do. You guys gotta move, right? So I was only 16, 17 years old, and I had to do all these kind of things. And I was like, bro, if these guys don't like move, they like act stupid, I'm gonna fucking knock them out. Nah. But I didn't want to get to the point where it had to do some sort of physical altercation because I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to get hurt either. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know if these guys had weapons on them. But I was just like, come on, guys, you guys gotta move. I don't know exactly what happened, but the other people came, like the people who were setting up for the party, and then I don't know, like, I guess they moved because they saw like a bunch of people, they were just coming in, and so they took their shit, they had their bags and luggages, and like, I think they just got off from the airport because the job that I used to work at, it was near the airport. So I don't know, man, they had like a one-way ticket to Hawaii, so they eventually left. And yeah, there's like some other crazy stories too, where there'll be always homelesses coming around. There was this crazy mental dude that came, and he was out here, just standing in the park, and like he was from like a mental asylum. I don't know if he escaped from there, but he was just staring at me one day. Like I remember I was over there and he was staring at me. Like he just didn't want to break eye contact. Like he wanted to fucking scrap. So I was like, bro, what the fuck this guy looking at, bro? So I had my golf cart on me, right? I was gonna run him over. I was gonna grab my machete. We had like weapons on us. You know what I'm saying? Like for tools. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, what the fuck this guy looking at? This fucking bald fuck. So anyways, like you see, right? As a young adult at that time, it taught me so much, and it made me so mature just from working that landscaping job, right? Not only did it taught me responsibility, accountability, it taught me how to show up on time even more. It taught me how to be safe with all the tools and equipment that we had to use. It taught me how to multitask and work fast and efficient and quick, but also working under pressure. Like there's just so much different things that I had to learn, you know what I'm saying? And it made me more mature. Anyways, I worked there from 2019 to 2022 or 2021 actually, from when I was 16 years old all the way till I turned 18. And then yeah, my second job, guys, right? I used to work at Taco Bell. I worked Taco Bell from 2020, from the start of the pandemic all the way to 2022. So I worked there for 2 years, right? I started when I was 17 years old, and then I worked there all the way till I was 19. So I had two jobs during that time era. So anyways, Taco Bell, that job taught me so many different things. Obviously, right, the obviously the skill sets that I learned was, obviously how to make tacos, how to operate the buffet line, or not the buffet line, but like they call it the line, like the hot line, the cold line, how to make the tacos and burritos. It taught me a lot about customer service, how to take orders, running the drive-through. It taught me how to use a fryer, how to do delivery. At that time, guys, we were trying to take orders outside with like these purple iPads to go ahead, and it was kind of like Chick-fil-A kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, it taught me so many different skill sets, but Taco Bell literally taught me so many different valuable life lessons that I was like, what the frick? So the number one thing that I feel like Taco Bell really taught me was how to have good communication skills. Obviously, guys, I was in speech class in school. I knew already how to operate with people, but I still was young at the time, younger, and I was only 17. I wasn't really familiar with, talking with people, talking with strangers. I was only used to with talking to my friends and people that I knew, my bosses. But every day, I had to go ahead and communicate with people that I didn't know. So it taught me not only communication skills, right? How to talk with people, how to interact with people, how to not be socially awkward, how to talk to strangers, but it also taught me so much about stoicism, right? Learning how to control your emotions without reacting on it. And that's very important in life, right? Bruh, these two things is what made me the person that I am today. I feel like if it wasn't for Taco Bell, I wouldn't be talking on YouTube right now. I wouldn't be out here meeting different people. Like for me, guys, this is the job that really made me comfortable with communicating with people and practicing my communication skills. Obviously, guys, communication is so important and is so vital, right? Not only for making money in businesses, but also for your everyday life. Maybe you're trying to get the girl of your dreams. Maybe you're trying to convince your family member to stop drinking alcohol, and you need to know how to speak and convey your message and convince them and persuade them to stop drinking alcohol. And only you can do it. All these other people, they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to be convincing. They're not persuasive. They're not confident. They don't they don't know how to explain shit, right? So communication is so important with that. Communication is so important with your businesses and making money. Maybe you got to get a job interview and they want to talk to the most confident speaker that knows what he's talking about, that doesn't stutter, that doesn't, and this and that, right? And it's just very important. Maybe you want to get the girl of your dreams and she likes the most charismatic, confident person over there who knows how to speak his way and make eye contact and have good body posture and is not socially awkward. So communication skills is so important. All right, and that's what Taco Bell taught me. For 1 year, guys, 2020 to 2021, I was working at customer service. I didn't get put to food service till 2021, and I worked food service for like the whole year. But for 1 year straight, I was running the drive-thru. But yeah, guys, I remember not only just communication skills, but also stoicism. Because at that job, guys, I tell you guys, I had to deal with so many different types of people. Customers, and not only just customers, but freaking coworkers, and it was just a shit show at that job. But at the same time, it was fun because I was working with my boys and stuff like that. I was working with my boy Hank, that's always in my Fortnite videos, and it was just like, it got to the point where it really, you had to control your emotions and you still had to keep it professional, right? And this is so important in your everyday life. You can't react on your emotions. If you do, you're going to end up in a fight. You're going to end up in jail. You're going to end up hurting people. You're going to end up hurting yourself and other people around you. You're going to end up losing your job. You're going to be ending up, ruining your reputation and tarnish your image and your business. Because why? You couldn't control your freaking reactions. You couldn't control your emotions because somebody said something stupid and they were having a bad day. It's like, bro, continue to move on and keep it stoic, all right? Continue to process your emotions and use it to, find a different outlet without having to lash out to release your emotions, right? A lot of people, they're freaking raging and shit like that. They're getting into fights because why? They don't know how to control their emotions. Because, somebody would say something. Oh, now he butthurt. Now he like scrap. Like, bro, fucker, shut the hell up and move on, all right? So Taco Bell, it taught me so many different stoicism skills. I remember during 2020, right? I got some funny few stories that I'd like to share real quick. But in 2020, it was pretty much like I said, right? It was pandemic. We had to wear masks. We had to go ahead and we couldn't have dine in. Like, so you could enter the front door, but you couldn't sit down and eat. You had to just take your food and go. And then there was this weird thing, guys, that they were doing. So I don't know why they were doing it, because this is a different subject, but I don't know why. But there was a rule, right? I don't know whose dumbass made the rule or why it was like even a enforced kind of thing, but they were so scared of the fucking pandemic, right? It would look like this. So we come in with masses, but in order to get your food at the drive-thru, right, you would have to have the customer wear his mask in his car. And if he doesn't have mask, they made a rule called no mask, no service. I don't know, like, guys, I don't know if there was other rules about this in different establishments. I don't exactly remember. I don't know if McDonald's was doing that too, but I knew Taco Bell, like, every time that somebody came, we would take their orders, right? I would say, oh, okay, sir, come to the drive-thru with your mask, no mask, no service. And there was even like signs about a drive-thru order taking machine that said no mask, no service. Like, you have to wear a mask at the drive-thru. So every time that we came in, there would always be guys that didn't have masks. They didn't, they would always be like, why I gotta wear a mask for? Why I gotta do this? And then, like, to me, guys, I personally, I don't care. Like, I didn't care. The reason I didn't care was because I was wearing a mask first of all, right? So it's like, bro, I already have protection. And, we're kind of like distance out. Like, we're not super close. We're not in the same facility, right? And not only that, but to me, guys, it's like, bro, if you're healthy and you take care of your immune system and you do natural ways to protect yourself, if you're eating healthy, you're drinking water, you're going to the acupuncture, you're going to a chiropractor, you're taking your natural supplements, you're doing tai chi, you're exercising, you're training, you're going to the gym and working out, and you're doing some sort of combat sport that's keeping you in active shape, you're out there going to church and praying, you're doing this and that, you're doing cupping, you're doing freaking therapy and stuff like that. Why would you get sick? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're young and healthy, you're supposed to be fucking healthy. Why are you scared of a fucking virus? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to get political or controversial, but I'm saying that if you take care of your immune system, and like all these guys already coming up to the drive-thru fucking eating Taco Bell, like, why are you eating fucking fast food during the pandemic? Like, that's the worst thing that you guys have to eat. Like, I don't know, guys. It was different times in life. Like, I'm talking from this perspective now, but to me, it was kind of mind-boggling. Like, the most fucking overweight guy will be telling us, oh, wear a mask, wear a mask. I'm like, bro, fucking lose some weight. You're telling me wear a mask. Bro, you're gonna get sick. Look at you, fucking get diabetes and gout and freaking high blood pressure. You telling me, bro? Fucking shut the hell up. I ain't scared. Fuck you, bro. Fucking worried about the pandemic when he can't even fucking do the basic everyday shit and fucking lose some weight. You know what I'm saying? And take care of his high blood pressure and his diabetes and his gout. Fucking that can hurt him in the long run. Like, shut the hell up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, like, to me, guys, it was mind-boggling. Like, I don't know why they made these fucking weird rules. Everybody was just so scared from the pandemic. And I remember, man, it was like, it would, like, I'm not trying to like talk down like it's a dangerous thing, or not, that is not a dangerous thing, but to me, guys, it was like, bro, like, if you're young and healthy, take care of your fucking health. Why are you eating fast food? So anyways, it got to the point where every time somebody came to the drive-thru with no mask, they would always, like, for me, guys, if I was at the drive-thru, I wouldn't care. Like, I'll just give them the food and go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lessen the interaction anyways, right? But anyways, there's like certain coworkers and certain, like, there's like managers and my boss. And every time that somebody pulled up to the drive-thru, they would, with no mask, they'll be like, hey, sir, you got to put on your mask. You got to do this. You got to. And then I was like, bro, why are you guys making a big deal? Like, there was this big dude, bro, this big white guy, right? He was like big, overweight fucking guy. And I don't know, man. He was kind of off the spectrum, but he was like in his 40s at that time. Like, he just turned 40 or something. So this is 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago in 2020. And every time that he was at the drive-thru, right, he would just come in, and if somebody didn't have a mask, he would just shut the window. Like, we had like a sliding window that we could open and close. And even if the guy was talking, like, he was like, hey, sir, I can't. He just shuts the window, like, disrespectfully. And then the guy, like, outside the customer, he's like, what the fuck, right? Like, what are you doing? And then the big white dude, he was just, like, pointing to, like, the mask on his face, like, mask, mask. Or he's, like, pointing to the sign on the drive-thru window. He's like, mask, mask. And then they would just, like, the guy would get mad. He'd be like, whoa, what the fuck you doing, huh? Why I need masks? I in my car. I'm not in the property. And they would just be arguing, and it would just, like, be chaotic. And then I'll be like, bro, what the fuck is going on, right? So, like, what I used to do was, me and my boy Hank, what we used to do was, we didn't give a fuck about the masses. Our mentality was we just get them out, get them their food, and get the hell out of there so we can run the drive-through. We're wearing masks. We're doing our part to stay healthy. Who gives a fuck if they're not wearing a mask, right? So what we used to do was whenever there was like the white guy was gone, or like the managers was not looking, because they were trying to enforce that rule all the time. When they were not looking, what we would do is we would just freaking collect their card payment. We would close the window, wait till the food is ready. We would grab the food, give them the food, and say, okay, bye, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, that was it. Like, it was just simple. Like, they were making such a big deal out of this shit. Oh, you gotta wear a mask. And then like, for me, guys, it was pissing me off, and I had to control my emotions, because it's like, bro, just do the job. Like, you guys are, both of you fuckers, like, you fucker, just put on your mask, and you fucker, shut the hell up and stop making a big deal out of it. Just give them the food. And it got to the point where it was pissing me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day we had to come in. Oh, yeah, we had to go enforce a stupid mask rule. And it was people getting mad and people getting fucking pissy about it. And then co-workers just making it harder. Oh, because our boss is watching through the camera. And if we don't follow the rules, then shut the fuck up, you sheep. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Just give them the food and go. You know what I'm saying? So it got to the point where people was literally getting mad about masses and pandemics and shit like that. Like, I understand, guys, it was a scary time for everybody, but to me, guys, it's like, bro, I'm on the front line too. Just fucking go. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, go. So yeah, that was one of the stories. That was like for 1 year straight. Like, everybody was pissy about it. There was weird homeless people that would come in. There would be your typical Karens that comes in. And I remember I was like taking order, and there was this guy, he was like yelling at me on the mic. And then like I was like getting mad too. I was like, bro, you fucker, you better watch your tone with me, bro, for fucking coming there slap your neck. Anyways, I didn't want, I was like, bro, what the fuck, right? So there was a lot of stupid ass people, I promise you guys, and it taught me so much about stoicism. And not only that, but yeah, like I remember like my bosses too. It got to the point where I'm gonna save it for another freaking video, but yeah, guys, you know what I'm saying, I'm talking too much already, but yeah, there's just so many different times at Taco Bell. And so yeah, it taught me communication skills, it taught me stoicism, it taught me how to multitask, because you know what I'm saying, there's times where in the morning it was just me, like, and it was just me with some old Filipino ladies that didn't even know how to speak English, and like they didn't even know how to take orders or do anything, and they're working slow. And you know, I like them, but it was just like, bro, what the frick, right? Like, give me some better workers, bro. So anyways, I had to multitask, collect, drive through, collect at the front of the house, make the food, do the food prep in the morning, and then just, you know, it was just crazy, bro. It was chaotic. And also working under pressure. Working under pressure is a big thing, because in life, right, a lot of people, they don't know how to work under pressure. When things get stressful in their life, they fold. When things get hard, they're like, oh, I give up. I don't know how to do it. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to find solutions and problem solve. So all these people, right, they freaking don't know how to multitask. They don't know how to work under pressure. And so I think that's what Taco Bell, it really taught me that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So Taco Bell, it taught me actually a lot of different interesting skill sets that I feel like it made me a better version of myself, right? Especially during the pandemic. Like, the pandemic made it harder. It made it more difficult. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video soon. But some other jobs that I worked at too was my high school job. I worked there in 2022 all the way to 2023. I was out there working in the cafeteria departments. I was, you know, washing dishes. I was helping with the cooks. I was helping with the pantry. I was the delivery driver. I was driving golf carts and box trucks around campus. And yeah, I remember it taught me a lot about, I think one of the most important lessons that I learned at my high school job was working with adults. Because at that time, guys, when I started that high school job, I was only 19 years old in 2022. So when I started, I remember the first day of work, right? I was working in the pantry. My boss, he was like this Mexican dude. He put me in the pantry, and the job's pantry was to go ahead and put like these fruits in the fruit cups for the kids, and we had to close it with the lids, and we had to like just make a bunch of cups, right, with fruits in it. And it was like we had to do like almost 1,000, because mind you guys, now this is the pandemic, so there wasn't eating in the cafeteria, literally. Like, we had to make like food inside of the containers, and we had to give it to them in the class. So like we had to make food, like food prep, like, you know, those food bowls, and we had to go ahead and give it to them. So we were just preparing like the fruit cups, and we had to do like over 1,000 of these. So I remember there's this lady, and I liked her. Like, we was cool after that. But the first day of work, she was like in her 40s, right? She came up to me, and she was making comments on the side. She was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, like she her whole impression was that I was young, I was 19, and she thought that I was gonna goof off, or like I was gonna be slow at the job. But what she didn't know was I had 2 years of working landscaping, and especially Taco Bell. Taco Bell taught me how to work fast. Like I was like fucking fast at the burritos and shit. And I was fast at collecting, so I already had some sort of speed and momentum to me. So when she was making jokes, and she was kind of be like, she was being like a wise ass, like she was making comments on the side to like her coworker, and she was saying it to where I could overhear it, and maybe like I don't know, like fucking she didn't want to say it to my face, but she was making jokes like that, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna show this lady and all these other older coworkers that despite that I'm young, you can take me serious. So what I'm saying, I was out there working, and then the freaking first month or so, they're all like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I'm not trying to glaze myself, but like you can ask them also. Like if I was to go back, they can all vouch for me. Any of these coworkers, I know that I have to work hard with little to no reward. Oh, that's also what I learned at Taco Bell: working hard with little to no reward and doing extra. Because why? That's that's important in life. When you're trying to start a business, you're not gonna get rewarded right away. Your reward's not gonna be big. What are you? You're not gonna work hard. You're gonna work hard because oh yeah, nah, nah. Like shut the hell up, right? So I remember I was like first month in, they're all like, oh yeah, 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 thank you, 5K, blah blah blah. And then I remember the first month I kind of quit. Like I didn't like literally like I told my boss, I said, hey boss, I actually got another job at Enterprise, right? This car rental company, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if I can work over here. So I remember he said, oh, I'm gonna give you to the end of the month, to like April, to figure out. I can still leave your name on the schedule. You don't have to come to work, but if you want to come back, you're still eligible to, not reapply, but just come back at the end of the month. And he told me, hey, this is the only person that I'm gonna do this to. Like I didn't do this with any worker. If somebody wants to quit and leave, he can take them out of the schedule right away. And so obviously I went back to the job after, because the enterprise job, it didn't work out. So luckily I was thankful and grateful for my boss that he was able to take me back, and that he didn't just like terminate me from the documents and whatever from the job right away. So yeah, it was just, I was very grateful, and it showed, like, because I proved to myself, like, I wasn't just a regular kid who didn't have life skills and experiences, who was immature, who was slow as fuck, who didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? I made sure that I proved my worth, right? So it just made me like solidify myself, like, okay, I'm a young adult and I'm able to work with other older adults, and they can be able to rely on me and take me serious. I remember when I was working over there, like, I used to work with 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 40-year-olds. I think the oldest person was like in his 60s, like 62, 63 at that time. And I remember they would always be talking to me as if I'm the same age as them. And I'm like, bro, like, I don't even know what they're talking about sometimes. And they're talking to me about their life problems and this and that, and about, like, all these other things. I'm like, well, I take that as a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're talking to me as if I'm the same age, as if I lived the life that you lived, and I have all these experiences, and I'm only 19, then I take that as a compliment. Like, they find me mature, they find me, as if I can talk to them on their level. Like, when I think of talking to like 12-year-olds nowadays, whoa, that sounds weird. But like, okay, sorry guys, that sounded weird. But I'm 23. But if I was to talk to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, like as a friend, like a guy, and if I was to talk to them, like maybe I worked at Taco Bell again, and I was interacting with an 18, 19-year-old, and if I was to talk to them, I, like, from my older perspective, even if I'm a couple years older than them, I wouldn't, like, I don't know what I would talk to them about. Like, I feel like the different conversation levels will be so different, because I think of an 18-year-old immature. So no wonder, right, all my older coworkers at my high school job, when I came in at 19, they was probably looking at me like the same thing. Like, bro, look at this. Another immature kid. He's going to slack off. Oh, he's going to call out all the time. Oh, he's going to be falling asleep on the job, probably goofing off or something. Nah. So that job, it taught me a lot of solidifying my place in the young adulthood. And I can work with different age groups, and I can show to people that you can take me serious, right? Other jobs that I worked at was Enterprise, this car rental company, for 1 month in 2022. And what that job taught me was, driving different cars, how the car rental operation works. But it taught me that don't be fucking lazy, and that there's a lot of fucking lazy people in the world. When I worked at Enterprise, there was all these younger people. I was only 19. There's 20-year-olds, late 20s, 30-year-olds, older men. And what they would do is they would drive in a car, and they would go into a car, right? They would just like act like they're driving a car, and they would literally just hide and sleep in a car. Like, I remember my boy Hank, they used to work there too, and he used to tell me stories how so many people got fired because they were caught like jerking off in a car. Literally, somebody was caught smoking weed or smoking cigarette, or not, yeah, smoking weed in the car, hiding. Some guy fucking fell asleep in the car, hiding. while he was on the clock. Some people take the cars out because you were able to drive the cars out of the airport because you had to go like to the service center, which is like down the street. Some people, they would just not even go to the service center. They would just drive around and fucking car cruise. And it just taught me, like, bro, these people are content. They're lazy. And I don't want to be like that. It was like some sort of like physical thing that I had to see to show to myself that you don't want to be like these people. And that's why, like, that's one of the reasons why I quit. I just didn't feel productive at the job. The time was so slow. Even if I was driving cars, it was cool, but it was just boring. The people was lazy as fuck. The people was like brain dead. They was like degenerates talking like dumb shit that I didn't give a fuck about. They're smoking in the bus. Like, bro, you know, fuck, get the shit out of my fucking face. It smells like shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Other jobs that I worked at was my warehouse jobs and warehouse companies. But to me, guys, 9 to 5 jobs taught me so many different things in life. It taught me so many different skill sets and life lessons. And I think if it wasn't for that, guys, it wouldn't make me the person that I am today. I wouldn't have certain perspectives and opinions. I wouldn't have different skill sets and different valuable life lessons that I learned that made me more mature and made me a better version of myself. So I'll tell you guys think 9 to 5 is a bad thing. I feel like it's an underrated concept nowadays because everybody, they want to get rich financially. But the thing that you guys got to learn first is you got to get rich as a person first. You got to build your life attributes. You got to build your maturity. You got to build your skill sets. You got to build your perspectives and opinions. You got to build your stories, your interesting stories to make you interesting. You got to build your communication skills. You got to build your soul. Right? And not only just work 9 to 5 job, but go to the gym, train, do your sports, go to church, build your business on the side, spend time with your family, travel here and there to learn different cultures and different places, right? It's important, guys, not to just become rich financially, but become rich as a person in every realm possible. All right? So, thank you guys for watching my video. I know I was yapping for a long time, but hopefully you guys learned something from today. And hopefully you guys go out there and you guys start conquering whatever that you're trying to conquer. Alright, so I'll see you guys for another video. Yes, sir.